Good evening, welcome. My name is Obendako. Welcome. I want to share with you focus on your life goals, or focus on your life goal. Life is without meaning when you have no goals. Life drags when we have no life goal. People can set up or start off in life with goals to complete school, get certificates, get a job, start a business, become a politician, become a preacher, become a surgeon, become a lawyer. And those are the things that we describe as professional goals or career goals. Some people do this for a living. That's where they get money to live. That's where they get their livelihood. What I am talking about today may be a little bit different from having professional goals or career goals or doing something for a living. We were all gifted in a way. We were all made for a reason to be on this earth, and that becomes your life goal. If you look at the telephone was made for a specific reason. And so for the life of a telephone, or let's say you look at your mobile phone, for the life of your mobile phone, it solves particular problems for you. If you buy a car, for the life of that car will solve a particular problem for you, and it's likely to be the car being able to transport you, move you from one point to the other. There is a difference between life goals and working for a living, and that's what people get too confused in. And so most people in this life only live for a living. So when they talk about goals, they set goals, for financial, prosperity, for a good family, for a career progress, but they don't set life goals. Until you decide to say that by the time I leave this earth, there's one thing that I would want to be known for. That I came to this earth, and this was at least one thing that I'll be known for. And that one thing was not just for me to get popular for myself, or for me to get a livelihood for myself and my family, or for me to be known for something just because of me. But that one thing, that one goal at least, will be the reason I also came to be here on this earth. And so I'm talking about life goals. If you set a life goal, even when you don't have a job, your life will still have a meaning. When you don't have any source of income, you will still be joyful about life. When everybody leaves you, you still be joyful about life. When your business collapses, when your business goes down, when you're in trouble, the life goal that you set for yourself will keep you going, because that is the only reason why you came to this earth. So let's look at what I call life goal or life goals. Some people could have more than one, but at least every one of us could be known for one thing. And that one thing is more than just you working for money. It's just more than you getting into, a career for yourself. It's more than you getting into politics or even getting into business just for yourself. It's a philosophy. It is higher thinking. Life goals. So you look at yourself and you look at your talent, you look at the things that you're passionate about, you look at the things that you can change in this life, and you set your life goals. The life goals is not because I want to become an engineer. That is a professional goal. That's a career goal. I want to become a surgeon. That's a career goal. I want to become a businessman. That is a professional goal. The life goal is something that is linked to changing lives, changing something about the way the world is run, about the way your community is run, about the way your country is run. Said that when you are no more, somebody will see that this man came, and because of this man we have this. If in your bit in doing that, you happen to get money out of that, that will be a plus. But then it will be some kind of problem of society, some kind of things that you will be the one to shape, you will be the one to change. Was it an idea that you change in your community? Was it a child that you could help to become something? Was it a political atmosphere that you could change? Was it just a product somewhere that you could come up with, or you could change a day or a year old, or something that has been so much been the same that you'll be the one person who will come to say that no, this time we can change it this way? That is a life goal. Most people that we talk about today, most people that are prominent, years back, thousands of years, hundreds of years, there are people that we talk about, and the only reason we talk about them is not because of the profession or the career that they live for themselves. It's the change that they made in the course of history. And so when you mention any great personality, whether it's 10,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, whether it's yesterday, or even if they are alive, we talk about them because there was a life goal, or at least, some goals that they committed their entire life to, and they changed the course of destiny. So there should be at least one thing that you would want to be known for before you leave this earth. There should be at least one thing. It doesn't have to be a global stage thing. It doesn't have to be something so much significant. It could be, but it does not necessarily have to be. It is just some 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 things that somebody somewhere, it could be just one person who will know you for that, and it was something that was in you. And so when they mention your name, whether you are alive or you are not alive, somebody will look up to say that that man or that woman changed my life. And it will not be something that is linked to your salary or your business or how much money you had for yourself, but it will be something that you change in another man's life. And that is a life goal. Nobody could not have that. Every one of us can have that life goal. It doesn't require education. It doesn't require professional training. It doesn't require anything. It just requires the awareness of it, that when you were made for this life, there was something that was placed in you, and that should be the reason why you are alive. If it happens to be part of your professional life, fantastic. But every one of us has that opportunity to live, to establish at least that one life goal. And that's why when you see people who are living in that, their meaning of life is different. This life goal is linked to your very reason, or the very reason why you were created into this life or to this earth. What is that thing? These are serious questions that every woman should ask him or herself. What is my life goal? It is beyond you not being able to have money to pay your rent. It's beyond you just working for salary. There is something that only you can change in this life, and that you should find. When you find it, life becomes very meaningful. That's why you can hear, or sometimes you hear, that the man was a billionaire and he took his life. He killed himself. But I thought a lot of people were looking for money. So why would a billionaire kill himself? The man had a very nice family and he killed himself. The man had a very prominent position in the society and he was still very much depressed and sad. Because those things don't fill that place of a life goal. If you find it, life becomes different. You become very energetic when you find it. It's your duty to find it. It's not my duty is to find mine, and your duty is to find yours. A life goal is separate from the goal that you set to have money. That is just money goal. Or it's different from the goal that you set to have a wonderful family or wonderful children. That one is between you and the recipient. It's only your sole responsibility. And that is what you'll be known for. And that one does not leave you. It stays with you for the rest of your life. The life goal. So what is it? You find it. Somebody will find it and say that I will be the politician who will change this for that country to change. I will be that labor, and the guy at the laboratory who will find that drug that will change destiny. I'll be that man who will go to that village and send all those children to school. And that will change the history of that village. I will be that one who will go and correct that error in the court so that people will find freedom. I'll be the one who will go through the prisons to give life to people, to give comfort to people. I'll be the one who will handle all the destitute on the street. And I could be a lawyer, I could be a judge, I could be a footballer. But my life goal is that which I'm so much in love with, that brings joy, happiness, change to people. That is my life goal. What is it? That is yours. Is yours the ability to share with people, to comfort people, to encourage people, to bring illumination to people? What is yours? You could be an engineer and you could have a fantastic heart of going to help widows. That could be your life goal. And when you're gone, you will not be remembered by the fact that you were a very good engineer who worked to get salary. And that's why most people who always spend their life to just work for salary or just build a business to acquire money for themselves, when they die, nobody remembers them except their family, because they did not find their life goals. And that is the question that you answer. What do you want to do with your life? It's beyond profession. Normally, when they ask us question about what do you want to do with your life, it's just about what do you want to do for a living? What do you want to do for livelihood, so that you will not sleep on the street, or you have a place to sleep your children, or have school fees, Those are just for yourself, to take care of yourself. But when you have those, there's still something that is left. And that is a commitment that you make to bring that which God deposited in you to help another person. What is that thing? Usually that thing will not be brought out just by academic training. It will be brought out by the good-heartedness that you have. So life goal is different from what you do for a living. It's likely to be different from even your professional career. If your career is only centered about, it's centered on what you do, just working for salary for yourself, so that you can buy a car and a house, it's not your life goal. It's that which, when you have closed for the week, you take the car and you go to that place. Go identify some people that you can help. That is a life goal. It's that which you do to add value to lives, to change destinies. And you may not be paid for. And it's actually you are not paid for it. That is a life goal. And you never get bothered. If you had to be paid for, it was not a life goal. It was for a living. So it's always in all of us. That thing may require money, but nobody will pay you back in terms of money for it. So that becomes your life goal, your life mission, your purpose. And it's different from the money. That's why you can see the great business people who have acquired a lot of money, and then now they decide to share their money. And they are not being paid for that. They do it out of heart. They see major problems around the world and they say that I want to do this. And these are guys who are building systems, who are building softwares to help people. To make money, a lot of it. And this man decides to say that no, I see these problems in the world, I want to do them. And what we don't know is that those things are more meaningful to them than the ones that they even had money, or they had payment, or they were receiving payment for when they were doing them. So you can see that the man is much more fulfilling, his life is more meaningful because he's identified his life goals. And why is it more fulfilling to him? It's more fulfilling to him because he can see lives being changed, but by his commitment to that which he believes he was created to do. And that becomes his life goals. And it comes out of that heart for humanity. That heart to lift somebody up. That heart to change the course of destiny. That heart to correct an injustice. You can see there are some journalists, you see them, nobody pays them, but they pick their cameras, they go to the prisons, they interview the prisoners, they talk to people who were placed there not the right way, and they're able to even go get some legal experts, fight for them so that they can be out of the prison. And nobody pays them. He could be a fantastic journalist, he does his journalism, they pay him. But when he decides to go to the prisons, he takes his own money, takes his own car, goes to the prison, goes to interview some of them, and we may be sleeping somewhere. But he will not sleep because he has found his life goal. He could be doing a lot of other things for the money. But what gives him fulfillment and what gives him meaning for life is that which is coming out of his heart. And so he picks his camera, he goes everywhere. You see some lawyers who could just go and defend somebody somewhere who was, who was not rightly giving, the right hearing in court, and it becomes his burden. This is a lawyer who probably could just take millions on a particular case, but who could just say that, no, I want to take that case, I will not take anything. And he could be doing that one after the other, and some of them could be in their 60s, 70s, and they're still doing that for humanity. Why? Because it's a life goal. It's not just because he's a lawyer. He may have the tools because he's a lawyer, but you could have a lot of lawyers who will never care about those. And when you talk to such people, you see that they are always full of energy. Their life is more fulfilling their life is more enjoyable. I mean, they enjoy life. They see life from a whole different point of view. Why? Because they have found their life goal. And so life goal is different from you being employed. You can be unemployed and still have life goals. Because the employment is just giving you livelihood, money, source of money, or career, something like that. But your life goals will see where something has to change. And you may not even have the right tools, but you have the right energy and the right heart to do whatever you have to do to change something that you know that if you don't change it, nobody else will change it. And so when you go through any community that there is a lot of wrong things, poverty, lack, it's because most of us have not found what we call life goals. And so we live all our lives just for livelihood. It could be employment, it could be business, it could be politics. And the reason you see that you are just living your life just for livelihood is because if the money does not come, you will not do it. That's fantastic. It's just for the livelihood. It's just for your professional life. It's just for your career. But there's another side of life that most people may not even be aware, because their whole attention is only on the livelihood. And then life will give you enough problems not to look at your life goals at all. And so when you are dead, when you are out of this world, nobody will remember you. Nobody. Because you only live for yourself. So a lot of people use going to heaven, to create fear in people, as if we were not on this earth for any reason. And so when you talk about life goals and people being committed to something greater than just living for salaries and living for business money and things like that, you see the religious, they come out to say that, we were only created here to serve God and to believe in Jesus and go to heaven. Then I ask myself, or ask them, if that is the case, or if that were the case, then why were you brought here? Why did you have to be here? You didn't have to come through this here. You could have just gone to heaven directly without being born onto this earth. And so it's not just about going to heaven. And that's why a lot of Christians become useless on this earth, because they think that the only thing that is so much important is to get people converted. To believe in Jesus. So that's, when you are having serious discussions with people, they water the discussions down with this idea of, I'm here to make sure that people go to heaven. Not so. Because when people believe in the Jesus that you preach, they don't die. They still live here. And the microphone and the car and the clothes that you are wearing, the telephone that you are using, the internet that you are using, the Facebook that we are using, if those guys thought the way we are thinking, there will be nothing. If they thought that the only reason that they were made here was to believe in Jesus and go to heaven, they would not have created that telephone. They would not have created that bed that you bought. They would not have created anything. Hospital will not be there. Nothing will be here. University will not be there. You could not read, you could not write. People thought that their life was more than just being born here. So they committed themselves to a goal beyond just living. That's why some young man could just say that I'm in the university, I've seen this thing that is working, I would want to put the university on hold and go and do this, because I see that it can change history. It can change the way people communicate. It can change everything about life. And he could do it for 8 years and there was no money coming in, and he was still focused on it because he saw life goal. He was not talking about employment. He was not talking about I'm not able to eat. His dream was to connect people. And that has changed everything. And all of us has the same potential. All of us have the same potential. and it goes beyond. The moment your mind focuses on only what will benefit you, you lose the life goal. You will not sacrifice for anybody. The moment your mind goes to that which I can do to change lives, to change the course of history, to change destinies, it becomes a life goal. And you're passionate about it. Even if they don't pay you anything, you still do it. You work somewhere for money, but this thing will not leave you alone because it's a life dream. It's a life mission. And so when people think of just here and go to heaven, they become irrelevant on this earth. And that is deception, actually. It is deceptive. And you have a lot of our young Africans thinking like that. That's why the poverty continues to be here. Why? Because people think that they are not the ones to change the course of the African destiny. So focus on your life goal. Every one of us has it. You just create awareness of it. It's more, sometimes it's more than what people know you for. It's more than what the professional training that they made you for. It is that river that flows out of your heart. So you walk with friends, maybe 10 of them, you're going through the street. You alone, you will see something that none of them will see. Because it gets your attention. You saw that child on the street naked, and everybody saw it and just, this child. But you took that child and you attended to that child. You probably went ahead to, take that child to the mother, and if there was no mother, maybe you took that child to an orphanage. And all your friends could focus on something else. Because why? Because your attention is different. And that could be a clue to your life goal. So what contribution can you make for your environment, for your country, for your community to change? That contribution will be more than just you looking for money. Life is more meaningful when you have a life goal and you're working towards it. I remember when we were in school, I happened to join some political something, and I was on some committee. And they went to sit for one day and they were asking for allowance. And I was very shocked that you little students, you sit for something and you're looking for allowance. Why? So why were you doing this? Because that's not a life goal, that's a career. That's a profession that they're developing. Life goal is different. Life goal is larger than you just looking for money. Life goal is larger than you just looking for name. Life goal is larger than you just looking for popularity. Life goal is that which is in your heart, that is connected to some part of history, connected to some group of people, connected to some person somewhere. That without that connection, that person will not get value, will not get meaningful life. Without that connection, somebody will not build Facebook. Without that connection, somebody will not build. Maybe Nkrumah had that. Maybe Nkrumah had that. He wanted freedom for his people. And maybe it was more than just him becoming a popular person. So which normally gets your attention? That is your life goal. And it will not leave you. Some people will see it and they just brush it off. It comes up and they brush it off. It comes up. That's why when you meet them, they're talking. They're always talking. They talk about it, but they don't see it as something that will not ever leave them. It will never leave you. And that's why you become you are not stable, you're not of yourself, because there's something that you have to do to change destinies, change lives. So almost all of us, our focus is just to work, and only work for ourselves. Only work for ourselves. Only work for ourselves. You can change that teaching into a life goal if you saw it and you had passion for it. You'll be that teacher that every student that goes through your hand, you put something in them. You speak some words to them. You change the focus of life. You put some values in them. And so you are teaching more than your friends. Your friends are just teaching at the end of the month, they're waiting for the pay. You are teaching, seeing the precious lives that you can change. That becomes a life goal. That becomes a life goal. You meet some teacher somewhere, he has nothing, but he's so passionate about the students that he's teaching. You can see the respect that he gives to the students. You can see the value that he expresses. You can see his belief in people because he has found his life goal. Sometimes you see that he has nothing, but he's not desperate. He's not stealing. He's not taking bribes because he has seen his life goal. And so the fulfillment of life is the fulfillment of life goal. Some people say that is finding Christ. If you found Christ, you'll find your life goal. You establish it. You see it. You see it in the lives that you will change. It's not just preaching about Christ to people. They have preached a lot of Christ to people. But people's hearts are still very tough. Very wicked. Why? Because the people have not found their life goals. And life goals are linked to destiny changing. Destiny changes. Some people meet you, and the way you talk to them, the next day their life is changed. I remember just about 2 weeks ago, there was this guy who was doing shoe shine. The guy looked desperate. So I was just entering the house. I saw him. I greeted him and just opened the door. And the guy began to talk. He was saying something. I said, Master, where do you come from? I was, oh, if you're offense, so now, and then the crowd, 40 pesos spend on bottom. So I stopped. Then I engaged him. And I said, so why are you doing shoe shine? Why? What do you want to become? So, Master, I've written applications. Nobody is taking me. I've gone a lot of places. So, wow. So I gave him some money, and I gave him my number to call me. So he called some other weeks. So we talked. I said that, okay, I will call you next time. Then today I went somewhere, and he was there as a security man. And so I was passing by. I didn't even see him. And he just called and said, hey, Massa. So, where do I know you? He said, oh, you gave me this, this money the other day, and that is what helped me to eat. I mean, he said it, I just look at him. But what impressed me was the fact that when we talked, he moved around to look for a job. And you could see the light on his face today. I saw him. And how happy he was. Now, I could have just looked at him and said, this guy could be an armed robber. Just move to my room. No. Because I have heart to share with people. So it doesn't matter how you look, rich or poor, it doesn't matter. And so when I see somebody desperate, it gets my attention. I may not be able to do everything, but what is it, that little thing that I can do? Because that man could be me. That man could be my brother. That man could be my sister. That man could be anybody. And his fault is that he was born somewhere that was that much tough. So he's trying to do his best. He's a shoe shine boy who could walk 3 hours, hitting his box, just looking for a livelihood. Are you that kind of person that conditions like that get your attention? Sometimes it may not even take money. Sometimes it will just take a smile on your face and a little attention to people. And it could change their destiny. And so all of us have something that God gave us that is beyond the gift that you use for money. That life goal changes destinies, changes life. And the life goal is situated on your heart for people. Your heart to change things, to improve things for people. It could be so technical, or it could be that simple. Wherever we are, there is that thing that is in everybody. Your life will not have full meaning until you pay attention to that. And when you see that, you will do anything to help people, to change anything, because you are there knowing that this is what I was born to change. This I was born. And so if you look at the track of your life, if you look at how your life has been, in spite of what you have become, if you're not making any significant progress in your professional life, it could mean that because you have confused the two. Because where people become significant in this life is where their life goes are. It's not where their career is. It's not where their profession is. If your profession happens to be part of your life goals, fantastic. Because somebody could have that passion to separate, say, to become a very good surgeon who could change complications, but he could not develop that until he had that technical skill. So some people could have that, but it will call for that awareness to say that this is what I was born to change in this life. This is the product I was born to bring out in this life. This is the systems that I was born to change in this life. These are the ideas these are the philosophies I was born to build. Some people's philosophies have changed destinies. Darwin. It could be bad philosophy, but it changed destinies. It could be Shakespeare. You look into through our history, you will see people who change the course of destiny. Could you agree? You could see people who change the course of destiny. It was beyond them, and the only way that we remember them is because they live beyond themselves. They live for posterity. So your life goals are not sometimes even for your generation. Sometimes it's for posterity, the sacrifices that we make. And that comes from the awareness that I was born here, or I was brought here for a reason. And that reason is beyond me just working for money, just working for livelihood. It's beyond that. It's beyond fame. It's beyond position. It's beyond prestige. It's just that which was linked to you to change destinies. John the Baptist had a life goal. He was introduced the Savior. Every one of us has one. And so we hear his name, not because of how much salary or how much business he built. We hear his name because of the course of destiny that's a change. And so if you want to be remembered, if you would want to have your name stuck somewhere, if you want to do something, it will have to be something which is dear to your heart that people need, and your commitment to take it to people. It means that you're living beyond yourself. So what is it that you believe is your life goal? What is it that you believe is your life goal? It's linked to your passion. It's linked to your talent. It's linked to even how you see life, how you see things. What your life goal is, it may be entirely different from what my life goal is. But what is that much measurable is that people just monetize their talent. And so the talent only brings them money for themselves. They don't change any destiny. They don't change anything. It brought fame, but only for themselves. It brought money, but only for themselves. They did not change any course of history because of that. And so it only helped them. And if it only helped you, it was not a life goal. It was just for yourself. So there should be at least one thing that you will be remembered for having come to this earth to live. And it will not be the money that you acquired for yourself. And it is linked to the reason you were created. That's a life goal. It could be just one thing. It could be more than one thing. And it's beyond that which you do for your family. It's beyond that. Sometimes it could be just one person that you will change, and that person will be changing a lot of things around the world. So find that No matter what you live, or no matter what you do, there's always that thing that you can find. What is it? What gets your attention? Is it a product? Is it human beings? What is it? Is it an NGO that you can start? Is it you getting into politics to change the nonsense that you are not happy with? Are you a corruption, something to fight? I think that Marie, for instance, has a life goal. I think so. I think that he is in it. I think that he's prepared for it. Because you hear from his words. He says that so that the many people, we want to stop this waste so that a lot of our people who are poor will have a better chance of a better life. That's somebody who believes that all that he has gone through was for him to get this. And it has been a dream. If you talk to him, it has been something that is with him. If you look at it the way he thinks, it's been with him. If you look at the way he looks at life, it's with him. You can see that. It's a life goal. And he will not rest until he does that. And he will be remembered for that. And don't doubt it, he will not fail. If you see somebody with his life goal right in the middle of it, forget about failure, he will not fail. Because he was born for that. To change the course of destiny. He will not fail. He will achieve it. After achieving it, they can kill him. No, it doesn't mean anything. But he will achieve it. Because people who find a life goal, you can see there's a trace. Because that's what you cannot take it from them. So it's beyond. That's why I think most people in this life now become very unsatisfied with life, very desperate of life, and it doesn't matter the possessions they have, or the positions they have. Because life goal is more than that. It's above possession. It's above position. Life goal is that which was put in you to change destinies. To change destinies. So you can see people you identify, every one of us can identify somebody who is in that. Well, you can see this man is into this, not for the fame, not for the money, but for the people. He wants to fight for the betterment of his people. He's a lawyer. He's trying to change something in the constitution so that people can people can live a better life. He's a policeman. He's trying to change something so that something somewhere can change. If you see people like that, they have found their life goal. And it's more than the money. You can take the money from them, they don't care. They don't care. And that's why the meaning of life is. That's what the meaning of life is. So the pomposity and all those, don't attract those guys. They are on a mission. They are on a mission. So find your life goal. Find your life goal. And life goal is selfless. Selfless. That's the difference between finding your life goal or building a career. Build your career for your livelihood. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. But building a life goal is a mission. To bring dignity, to bring order, to bring understanding to people. Somebody will just write one book, and a lot of people will get a different way of looking at life. That becomes a life goal. That becomes a life goal. Because he saw an error that had been perpetrated over history, and he could be the one to change it. He said, no, this one is a lie. And he put his life on line to say that this one cannot be. In history, you hear somebody like Yasantua. It was a life goal. She was fighting not for herself, but for her people. Those who only fight for themselves are not in their life goals. When you fight for your people, when you fight for people, when you fight for the dignity of people, when you fight the poverty, when you fight the injustice, when you fight the ignorance, when you help many to succeed, you are in your life goal. and you see that you have the passion. You don't your wisdom grows, your understanding grows, your worldview expands, because there's a life goal. You start to live beyond yourself. And you may not be paid. You may not, nobody may even recognize you. It doesn't matter. Have you ever heard musicians, old actors and old even sometimes the young ones, say that, oh, Ghana has forgotten us. Ghana has done. Listen, Ghana has forgotten everybody. So it's not only the musicians. But if it was your goal to produce a music that could change destinies, you don't worry, we don't care whether they remember you or they don't remember you, because you carry an assignment. You had to finish it. It was a burden. It is a burden. Life goal is a burden, you know. So you carry it. You're not doing it for anything. You're not doing it for the fame. You're not doing it for the finances. You're not doing it for anything, because you see a particular pattern that you are the one to deliver. So the actor or the actress, especially those ones who died in poverty, they said that our country did not celebrate our legends. No, listen, nobody will celebrate you. You have to take care of your finances, and that is different from your life goal. So if you understood it as a life goal and something that you were born to do, to change destinies, to change the course of history, to change systems and structures, then you are not the one looking for somebody to recognize you. You don't care. You're not looking for that. You're not looking for recognition. You're not desperate for it. It's not something on the table. You just believe that this is the one that you have been gifted to change the course of destiny, and so you focus on that. You know, and so it's not, we are not celebrating our old footballers. Listen, if the footballer was playing out of life goal, then you don't worry whether they remember you or they don't remember you. If you're an old politician and they say that they have forgotten you, who should remember you? How many people can they remember? You know, so if it's a life goal, you're not looking for payback. You're not looking for fame. You're not looking for finances, because those are different. The fame has a strategy. The finances has a strategy. The what is the other one? The profession has a strategy. The career has a strategy. And I think that that's what most people are looking for. They're not looking for the goal to change destinies. So you are following, following the church because of what you want to eat. You want to become a pastor because of what you want to eat, not because of the destinies that you can change. That then becomes a career, not a life goal. A life goal is linked to the talent that you are given, the passion. You are wired to change that. And that is more fulfilling than any other thing, because all your life you've been prepared to do that. And every one of us has that. It's up to you to look for that and change it. Every one of us has that. So what people continue to pursue is just a professional career, just finance, just money. They just chase that, but they don't chase the life goal, because it's tougher. Life goal is selfless. It changes destinies, it changes people, it improves lives. Something that you are concerned. You saw that the people did not have water in the community. You didn't live there, and you took upon yourself to give them clean water. And you did it in one village, and you did it in another village, you did it in another village, and later you see that you are forming an organization, mobilizing funds to do it in 100 villages. You have no idea how many lives you're changing. That is a life goal. And you see that, maybe you're even a professional tailor somewhere, designer. You're working your day job, you're building your professional career, and yet you have time to go and build boreholes in all those villages to change lives. Or maybe you are building clinics, or maybe you're even building schools. And most often, the people do that not because of the benefit that they get, but it is destiny. It's life for them. Without that, they don't have any life. They change lives. So life goal is way different. That's why you could see some prominent surgeon somewhere who will leave so-called well-paying job, move through some villages around the world to do surgeries to change, to help people not to go blind, or go and mobilize money, go to some villages and help people to do heart surgery or kidney replacement, or something like that. Why? Because they have found. And you cannot stop those people. Because when they stop it, life becomes meaningless. So when you don't find your life goal, life is frustrating. No matter how much you're paid, no matter which positions that you're given, when you are alone, you feel empty. You feel disturbed. You feel like you have not made any mark with your life. Because you only live for yourself. And when you live for yourself, life is empty. Life is empty. So life goal is that which pushes you to live beyond yourself. And all of us have that capacity to do that. What is it that gets your attention? What is it that you're gifted? What is it that gets you, cry, weep, angry? What is it that is beyond you, and that which you will not even be paid for, and you will still do it? What is that? What is it that you love talking about, and you get so much frustrated? And you ask yourself, what is it that I can do to change this? Martin Luther King Jr. saw that his people were more treated, so he had to fight for that. He paid that with his life. Great men found their life goal, and they did not care the popular opinion, because it was something that was life to them. And every one of us can find that. Every woman has it. Every woman. Are you gifted to bring awareness to people? Why do you hide it? Don't hide it. Take the risk. Can you bring enlightenment to people? Can you develop a drug? Can you develop a machine? Can you develop a tool? What is it that you can do? Is it a document that can change the way we do things in the country? Why do you hide it? That is a life goal. And you use the extra time that you have after your work, after your business, to do that. That is a life goal. And technology has made it so simple for every one of us to achieve our life goal. So beyond the professional life, beyond the business life, beyond everything, there is something that every one of us has to change destinies, to change lives, to change destinies and to change lives. And that is a life goal. Sometimes it does not even have to be elaborate. Sometimes you'll be the one to put 20 girls in the university and nobody even hears it. Sometimes you'll be the one renting rooms for people who are desperate. Sometimes you'll be the one going around helping girls who are prostitutes to get back on track in life. Sometimes you'll be the one helping the young boys who are smoking weed. Sometimes you'll be that guy who will just commit some hours somewhere, do research to correct an error in society. All of us have it. That which you do with the extra time that you have to change lives, to make the world a better place, to bring illumination. And it's always linked to a heart. So if you don't want to live a frustrating life, if you don't want to live a pain life, if you don't want to live a selfish life, find your life goal. When you were growing up and they told you, what do you want to become? Most likely it was a professional goal that you talked about. I want to become a lawyer, I want to become a doctor, president, a soldier man, policeman. Those were professional goals. If it's linked to just you, it's a professional goal. But if it's linked to changing history, because that is what you'll be remembered for. You would only be remembered for the lives that you change, not the money that you acquired, the lives that you improve, the people you inspired, the hope you brought to people, the encouragement that you brought to people, the attention that you gave to people, the listening ear you gave to people. Those are the things that you'll be remembered for. people's desperations that you solve? Where do you have the heart? That is really the meaning of life. That is the meaning of life. And when people talk about Christ, really that's what he came to do. Because after the restoration, after he has restored you back to the Father, what is it that you use your life for? Are you just going to tell people like they do on the street, hey, come and accept Jesus if you don't want to go to hell? Even he himself did not talk like that. He was a man full of love, full of compassion. So the compassion of Christ that you can extend to others to change things, that is a life goal. And that is beyond you just becoming being a pharmacist or being a chemist or being something. No, that's a lot of people do that. But beyond that, what is it that you have seen to correct? What is it that you have seen to correct? To make the world a better place. That is a life goal. Is it you want to go become a farmer so that you can feed those children? That becomes a life goal. And likely all of us, we just make decisions only for ourselves. That's why people miss destiny. Because you make decisions out of comfort. We don't like anything that is controversial, that is discomfort. And that's why most people don't become anything significant. Because all their choices were only for them. They could not do anything beyond their own benefit. And so when you see some graduates looking for, say that they are unemployed, it's just the professional side that they are not employed. Their life still has some kind of meaning if they are just aware that there is so much that they can live for beyond that which has to only benefit them. So you say you are a preacher. Are you just preaching for livelihood, or you're preaching to change lives? And it's not just preaching for them to go to heaven, but preaching to get people's heart to be soft, to be compassionate, to be kind, to be trustworthy, to be forgiving, to be wise, to be knowledgeable, to be understanding. That is the essence of life. Because people can just make decisions because of human beings, we can be programmed in a way, because all of us, whatever that we heard from somebody. And so if that which they told us was wrong, our lives could be programmed to be wrong and we will not even know it. So people live life out of the things that they were told. Sometimes just one word from somebody can change somebody who is so much desperate into somebody who becomes so much hopeful. Just one word, just one attention. Sometimes most people who become desperate, suicidal, it's because they felt there was no hope. And hope comes out of words. So sometimes you'll be the one person to encourage somebody. And if you encourage one person and they are very happy, and they get back on track, and you encourage another person and they become happy, you get another person and they become happy, build an institution around it, and become somebody who is giving hope to people. If you went to give shoe to that village and they were very thankful, and you went to give another one to them and they were very thankful, what makes you think that you cannot call all your friends and gather all the shoes and be sending them every month to the community? You have no idea what those children will become in the future. And that could be a life goal. Maybe it's the clothes that you can organize and send it to some place. What is that you can organize? Sometimes it's drug that you can organize and send it to that hospital. And you are so long as it's linked to changing people, making people become better, it's a life goal. And you see that your life becomes more fulfilling because you're committed to something. You're committed to sharing something that God gave you to changing lives. So if you're frustrated, maybe sometimes you think that you have reached somewhere in your career, everybody thinks that you're successful, but you feel empty, you feel desperate, you think that you have wasted your life, and yet everybody around you thinks that you have become very huge success. It's because you built just a professional life. There was no life goal. Because life goal is beyond yourself. Life goal is linked to changing lives and destinies. So find that. If you are in that kind of position, find that. What is it that I can do to change people's life, improve destinies? What projects can I take to help a country develop? To help maybe to help people who have struggling businesses come back on track. Maybe you can help people to find jobs. What is it that you can do? Maybe you can help people to start businesses. Maybe you can help people to get a lot of things that they do wrong with their lives on track. Maybe you can help broken homes. You can help people to build better homes, better marriages. What is it that you think you've been gifted? Because it's always linked to that. And so you have your professional life, you have your business that is making money, billions for you, no problem. But what is it that you're doing to help change destinies beyond the money that you're making for yourself? And that's where the real fulfillment of life is. And if you can get many people in Africa to do that, a lot of our people will have meaningful life. And so you become a minister, you go there with a life goal. I'm at this position to change destinies. So I'm not there looking for bribe to build houses in Dubai. I am there to change destinies. That is a life goal. And that's the only point that your life becomes meaningful. And that's the kind of peace that you enjoy. You know, people look outside, they look at some people, they think they have peace. They don't have any peace until you have found that which you do to change lives. And that is linked to life goals. And so my name is Obendako. I have talked about life goals. I'm wrapping up. And life goals are different from professional development, career development, pursuit of business, pursuit of money, until those things are linked to changing destinies, changing lives. Until they reach that level, it's just for you. And there is always at least one goal that is linked to you. And that's why you were created, actually. And it's beyond the school they sent you. It's that thing that pops up every day in your mind. It gets you concerned. It gets you think. It gets you worried. You see someone normally and you're not happy with it. And something is always telling you, do this, do something to change this. Just start with one. And you'll be shocked what you can do for people. Is it the Kaya you girls that you see them and you understand? Can you help one? Can you help two? Can you help three? Is it the school curriculum that you are very unhappy with? Can you rewrite it and go to the Ministry of Education to say that this is an error? We cannot educate our people this way. And they fight you, you still go back because it's a life vision. It will never leave you until you do it. Is it the bad drugs that they sell on the market that you are angry about? What is it that you can change? Is it the unemployment that you are angry about? What is it that you can change? It's a lifelong goal. And so life goal does not get you into retirement. You don't retire. It stays with you till you drop. That is a life goal. It's always taking energy from you. So what do you want to do with your life? What is it that you can do to add life to people? Bring dignity to people. Bring value to people. Life goals are different from you working for money or living for livelihood. It's that point where you start to make meaning with lives of others by the gifts that God gave you, by the passion, by the strength, by the energy. So a lot of people use, church to denigrate the idea of committing themselves to do something significant on this life. Because they only teach people that what is important is for people to go to heaven. And for me, that is a wrong teaching. Yes, people should go to heaven. People should believe in Christ. But when they have believed in Christ, what do they do now before they go to heaven? The telephone you are using, somebody created it. That person believes that the only relevant thing in this life is to just go to heaven. All other things are useless. And that thing is only coming from poor people, poor Africans, who are only preaching this kind of message. The man is already poor and you're telling him that whatever is in this life is useless, go to heaven. And that's why the man is dying 30 years, 40 years, because the country is poor. If you had money, you probably will live longer. It's not the devil. A lifespan is so short because a lot of things don't work right. And yet, when people are committed to changing destinies here to make sure systems are right, they are preaching to you that the only important thing in this life is where you spend your eternity. And so everything else is useless. Eternity is good. But there's there's a work for us here. This work that we have to do before we go. And if all of us were committed to working, this country, this continent will be far better than this. We cannot profess Jesus and still live in this kind of hustle and pain and struggle and hostility. And so don't buy that. Heaven is fantastic, but it's not, if you're even going to go to heaven, it's because of the finished work of Christ. It's not because you because you did anything. But there is science, there are products, there are destinies, there are businesses, there are things that we have to do to make people live in dignity. He said that when I was in prison, you didn't visit me. He didn't say that when I was in heaven, you didn't visit me. He said that when I was in prison, the prison is on this earth. That's a call beyond the salvation. So that which we do here has direct relevance. And that's how you'll be remembered when you are gone. So focus on your life goal. Do something to change destinies. Make a contribution here. Be known for something. Be remembered for something beyond you just giving birth to somebody. Life is meaningful when you have your life goals. And that's the joy of life. So there's nobody who has a reason to be desperate. Because God has given us that ability to live life out of that which will benefit people beyond just getting some things for ourselves. So thank you very much for watching. Get a plan. Commit to something. Share with people. What is it that you're good at? Share. Bring something to people. Is it books that you can buy and share to people? Do it. Is it school fees? Whatever that you can do to change lives, do it. Because when I was in prison, you did not visit me, the master said. Okay, so thank you very much for watching.